Hey everyone, it's Robert Hall. Thanks for coming back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about something that I see in different groups of flash photographers where people are discussing a Speedlight's inability to fill up a modifier. Now the reason for this discussion is pretty simple. Most Speedlights on the market, as well as the AD600, which I'm holding here, feature a Fresnel head. And a Fresnel head concentrates light. That's its entire design. That's the reason that it's used on lighthouses, is because it concentrates light into a beam. It does so with the Speedlight as well. You don't get light going every single direction. It's not an omnidirectional pattern like a barebulb is. Instead, it's concentrated, which makes it punch up in terms of power relative to a barebulb of similar output. Now, the way some people talk about Speedlights in softboxes is as if it's completely useless because of the concentrated beam of light. You are not reaching the walls of the softbox, and therefore, why are you even putting it in a softbox? Other people phrase this discussion as, can a Speedlight fill a large softbox? And then when you get into using large modifiers like shoot-through or reflective umbrellas, people speak about Speedlights as though they don't even have the power to fill it, as though the light doesn't reach the large area of the modifier, and therefore you're not even going to get any output out of it. And so in today's video, I just wanted to address all of that and show you guys some real world examples of what you can expect. Because if you trust those people, you're immediately going to think that, well, your Speedlight is no good in any type of studio modifier. And why would you even use it at all? You definitely have to have a barebulb modifier, but that's actually not the case. I'm also going to emphasize a particular Speedlight in today's video, and it's actually been here the whole time. And that is this little guy, the Godox MF12. Now this MF12 is actually designed as a macro product, but that's not how I use it. Since it's X series capable, it has a receiver built in, you can just use it like any other off-camera flash. Now of course, a flash this tiny that works off of an internal rechargeable battery isn't going to have the output as, say, an AD200, AD400 Pro, AD600. It is much weaker than pretty much every other Speedlight on the market, but I still wanted to see, can we push this to fill up even the largest of modifiers? Now, not only did I do this for testing purposes, but I also did a whole shoot like this, so you might see a little bit of B-roll jumping in here, and that's just a practical, real-world application of what you can get out of even the smallest flash like this Godox MF12, provided you're in a controlled lighting environment. So the first thing I did is I took the MF12 and I put it in two large modifiers, both a 48-inch softbox and a 65-inch white umbrella. In order to do that, if you're curious, I had to put it in this little round head bracket available from Glow. I think the S2 bracket would work just as well. I wouldn't recommend this as a formal way to use the product, but it was enough for testing. And so when I did the test, I found out that, well, there isn't too much of a difference. You can see here when the MF12 is compared to an AD600 Pro without a reflector, just its barebulb, in the 65-inch umbrella, that their light qualities are for the most part the same. They have a similar spread of light, and the light quality that you get out of them is roughly the same softness. You can see here on this close-up that we've got pretty much the identical lighting pattern between these two. Now the MF12 does have this little diffuser cap that you can use to diffuse the light more. And of course, the 65-inch umbrella has a diffusion panel. And both of those can blur the lines and differences between the two. But even with no diffusion cap on the MF12 and no diffuser on the 65-inch umbrella, we still have very similar light quality to the 600 Pro when there's no diffuser used. So next up, I took the Godox MF12 and I put it inside of a softbox, the 48-inch Quick Octa, so a relatively standard sized Octa box. And this is where I honestly thought that the MF12 was going to have a tougher chance at producing the same lighting characteristics as a barebulb. And that's just because there's no room for it to bounce, right? It's going straight through those panels. At least that's what people typically argue. However, again, I found virtually no difference, and all these tests were done without any diffusion on the MF12. The difference is so minimal that I think anybody with Speedlights who's wondering, hey, can I even use these with a large umbrella or a large softbox, or do I have to upgrade straight to strobes? No, you don't have to go straight to strobes. You can totally get away with using any type of Speedlight in these modifiers. And this is a particularly large modifier. The 4-foot softbox is pretty big, and I think it'd be practically the same story in a 5-foot softbox as well. Most people aren't even interested in that. They're more staying in the 3-foot territory as a first off-camera lighting softbox. Now, of course, there's going to be some limitations here. You can't just take a setup like a Godox MF12 with a 48-inch softbox and expect to conquer the world of photography. If you took a setup like this outdoors, it's not going to compete with bright conditions in the middle of the afternoon in daylight, and you can pretty much expect this story of other speedlights as well. They just don't have the power to be used behind all that diffusion in bright conditions. If you want to see more details on this, you can check out this video where I compared a number of modifiers and lights in broad daylight so you guys can know exactly what you need. Alright guys, I just wanted to clear the air and give you guys my 2 cents on that topic. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll catch you in the next one.